First at 4, the bridge blockade is finally broken. This is a live look at the Ambassador Bridge. Traffic has been moving, but barely. We have an update and reaction from Governor Whitmer. Will Russia invade Ukraine? It's the question everyone is asking, from the White House to Metro Detroit. We're going to take a look at the latest signals from Moscow and talk about local people standing by to help Ukrainians. And here's Andrew.
And Karen, Motown, rest of Southeast Michigan, happy Valentine's Day and welcome to Monday. A few flurries are out there for now. A frigid night is ahead, but then higher temperatures later this week. Your 7-day forecast, first at 4.
Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News First at 4 starts now.
Good afternoon, I'm Karen Drew. The Ambassador Bridge between Detroit and Canada is open, but traffic seems to be trickling across more than a steady flow. Sky 4 has been checking in on the progress of the reopening. This video is just before 3 o'clock this afternoon. The bridge had been shut down or partially shut down for nearly 7 days. Canadian law enforcement moved in to clear protesters and tow vehicles out of the way on Sunday. The so-called Freedom Convoy started demonstrating against mandatory vaccinations for Canadian truckers. But the protests grew to become anti-government as well. Things were cleared out rather peacefully with some arrests over the weekend. A heavy police presence remains on the Windsor side to make sure protesters don't try to block the roadway again. Michigan's Governor Whitmer released a statement saying, in part, this is a win for Michigan's working families who are just trying to do their jobs. It's time to get traffic and trade moving across North America's busiest land border crossing again. And she added, it's important to ensure that this does not happen again. Business editor Rod Maloney is tracking the impact of this massive interruption of commerce.
The Ambassador Bridge now open, trucks making it across, auto parts getting to the plants where they need to be, and now the plants are running. But in looking back, what did all of this cost? We have access to an analysis. We'll have the full details at 5.
All right, Ron, and the battle isn't over in Canada. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has invoked emergency powers across the country to quell other protests that have also paralyzed cities like Ottawa. Meantime, Ontario's premier says that province will lift its COVID-19 proof of vaccination requirements in 2 weeks. He says it's not because of the protests, but because, quote, it is safe to do so. Well, you will probably get some cautious optimism as we show you the newest COVID-19 numbers from the state of Michigan, reporting more than 5,300 new cases over the past 3 days. It's a daily average of just under 1,800. That's a big drop from last Monday. The latest 7-day positivity rate is still above 17%, since that does not include home tests. Nearly 1 in 5 people tested are likely coming up positive. Hospitalizations have decreased over the last 3 weeks. Meantime, there is a new effort and more funding to increase vaccinations in kids and families all across Detroit. DPSCD is the first district in the state to become an immunization provider. A $100,000 grant from MDHHS will create mobile vaccination clinics across the district. 107 vaccination sites are planned in Detroit. Nurses will provide students and families who can send COVID-19 vaccines. In Detroit, the childhood vaccination rate is at 4%, so that's far less than surrounding cities.
Things can change very quickly, as we've seen time and time again. And when they change, we have to change how we respond. And that is what this partnership represents today. By coming together so that our youngest people have what they need to be protected against this virus.
The district's goal is to provide first and second doses at every school by the end of this school year. Opening statements are underway in the hate crimes trial surrounding the death of Ahmaud Arbery. 12 jurors and 4 alternates were seated today to hear the case against 3 white men. Father and son Greg and Travis McMichael and their neighbor William Roddy Bryan are facing federal charges this time around. They've already been convicted of murdering Arbery when they chased him down in a Georgia neighborhood and shot him. The men said they were trying to make a citizen's arrest and felt threatened. No one was arrested in the case until video of the incident leaked online 2 months later. A moment of silence was held today in Parkland, Florida. It's been 4 years since a teenage gunman stormed the campus at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School. 17 people were killed, 14 students and 3 staff members. The shooter, Nicholas Cruz, has pleaded guilty and is facing a possible death penalty. Many of the students who survived the tragedy have become gun control advocates. The United States is preparing for a Russian invasion of Ukraine, even as the Kremlin hints it's ready to keep talking about security grievances. It is a tense and tricky time with plenty of conflicting signals. CNN is sharing this video of Russian tanks apparently seen about 10 miles from the Ukrainian border. Russia has denied its plans to invade its neighbor, but has more than 130,000 troops surrounding the country. Officials in Washington, London, and elsewhere have been warning Russia could move on Ukraine as soon as Wednesday, but that prediction is being widely debated. Russia's foreign minister argued today that Moscow should hold more talks with the U.S. and its allies. Vladimir Putin wants to prevent Ukraine from joining NATO, but the Western allies says that's not negotiable. Meantime, the U.S. is moving its embassy from the Ukrainian capital to the western part of the country, considered safer in the event of an invasion, something the president of Ukraine disputes. Metro Detroiters with ties to Ukraine are watching, waiting, and preparing to help. Our Paula Tutman standing by live this afternoon with that part of the story. Paula.
Yeah, hi, good afternoon, everybody. So think about this. Metro Detroit has a huge Ukrainian American population, and people who aren't necessarily of Ukrainian descent are obviously very interested in what's going to happen next. Now, think about this. I'm in Warren at Ryan, just south of 12 Mile, and that border, Ukraine and Russia border, is about 5,200 miles from where I'm standing right now. You might say, well, what can Ukrainian Americans do right now to help over there? And it turns out, actually quite a bit. A small child holds up a sign with one important message: help. At a recent prayer service at the St. Mary Ukrainian Orthodox Cathedral in Southfield,
we know what they want. We remember our past and our history.
The importance of Congressman Andy Levin and Oakland County Exec Dave Coulter in attendance is it shows the lightning speed in which local Ukrainian Americans have moved to gain notice, influence, and support in an organized and efficient manner.
I want to be honest with you. If we want to achieve peace when we're facing somebody like Vladimir Putin, we have to act and unite and be very, very strong.
As Russian troops continue to gather along the Ukraine border, 100,000 strong, and today, 6 Russian assault ships have been spotted in the Black Sea off the shores of Ukraine. The slow drumbeat of invasion continues its concerning thuds as a threat to a fledgling democracy. In Michigan, there are 50,000 people who identify as Ukrainian American with strong family ties and deep friendships with people who may be in harm's way. And so in the last 14 days, a yeoman's effort to build a different kind of army is being built with lightning speed with the Ukrainian American Crisis Response Committee of Michigan.
Ukrainian American organizations in Metro Detroit had an emergency meeting to see if we could figure out a way for us to coordinate our response to the threat that Ukraine was facing.
Mykala Mirsky is the newly installed chair of the organization that is getting prepared to mount a physical and financial response to Ukrainians who may have to flee the nation if invaded.
So we formed committees that would help with collecting humanitarian aid should there be an invasion and a subsequent refugee crisis. We formed committees to help engage our public officials to make sure that they knew that there were 50,000 Ukrainian Americans in Metro Detroit that cared about this issue. And we created this organization, this overall organization that would help ensure that we spoke with a united front, and we were able to help in a united way to alleviate the pain that Ukrainians would feel if Russia should invade.
It means getting ducks in a row, preparing the infrastructure to collect money quickly, putting the logistics in place now to rapidly curate blankets and winter clothing, and to get those critical items beyond the Ukrainian border, working with other organizations across the nation and the world, like European allies, to make sure Ukrainians have an actual place of safety to go should they become fleeing refugees. And the time to get ready is now, before the infrastructure of humanitarianism is actually needed.
We're expecting that there are going to be 1 to 5 million refugees that flee from eastern Ukraine to the west and into the European Union. That's a lot of people. And that means that they'll need clothes. It's winter, so they need blankets, they need food. And we, as Ukrainian Americans here in Metro Detroit, feel a duty to help them however we can.
Yeah, and so the big difference here is being proactive instead of reactive. And what this crisis response team is doing is they're basically putting all of the things in place. So they're not really thinking in terms of if or when, but now and what if that makes sense, Karen.
Sure does. An incredible number, 1 to 5 million possible refugees.
Oh, yeah, incredible to think about.
Yeah, it is. Paula, thank you very much. We appreciate it. We do have an Olympic controversy that just won't go away for us this afternoon after Russian figure skater Kamila Valieva has been cleared to continue competing in Beijing. The 15-year-old skater failed a pre-Olympic drug test for a banned substance, but the results weren't reported until after the games had started. She tested clean twice since that failed December test. A court of arbitration gave her a favorable decision, in part because she is a minor and subject to different rules than adult athletes. Now, whatever happens on the ice, Valieva will not get a medal ceremony moment in Beijing, nor will any skater who finishes in the top 3 with her. Stay tuned to the Olympics on NBC and its platforms for more on that story. The women's figure skating competition starts tomorrow. Matthew Stafford's Super Bowl victory has to be bittersweet for many Lions fans who supported him for 12 long years. But in case you missed it, the LA Rams quarterback made it very clear he still feels the love from Detroit, and the fans have a very special place in his heart.
Could you feel the love not only from the organization but the fans over this last month during this title run?
Yeah, I really could. It was amazing. You know, I mean, like you said, there's no reason for them to cheer for me anymore, and the fact that they did was just a true testament to who they are as people and who they are as fans. You know, you played in a Midwest city, you know the deal, and they live and die with those guys, they're players, and to have that support all the way across the country here playing in this game means the world to me and my wife, my family. They helped us through a bunch of tough times and, you know, are a huge reason I'm sitting here today.
As we all know, the Rams beat the Cincinnati Bengals 23-20 in the final minutes of the game last night. Of course, Bernie will have more when you join us for Local 4 News at 5 and 6 in sports. All right. Time now to talk about the weather. Andrew.
Thank you very much, Karen. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone. We're looking at a Monday filled with some sunshine this morning. Now, some clouds have returned on Storm Tracker 4 as we scan the skies for you. Yes, there are a few snowflakes around, a few scattered flurries, mainly here in Windsor, but also on the east side. Got a couple of flakes that are flying. Same thing right around Ann Arbor and in parts of Washtenaw County up toward Hamburg Township. But nothing like the snow we saw yesterday. Many folks, it was quite a spread too. 1 to 6 inches of snow depending on where you were. Here in Wayne County, plenty of communities, 3 to 6 inches when all was said and done for yesterday. Well, tonight it gets frigid once again. We're talking about temperatures that easily make it down into the single digits later on tonight. Currently, we're looking at cloudy skies overhead, high temperatures as we go through tomorrow and the next few days, looking like they're actually below average, then going back above average. In fact, it remains cold for now. Overnight lows will be in the single digits. Tomorrow, temperatures only in the 20s, about 25, 26 degrees later on as we go into tomorrow afternoon. Wednesday is going to be the warmest day of the week, but only for a short time because a cold front comes through, drops those temperatures back down to the 20s by the end of the week and back below average. Currently, we're looking at temperatures mostly sitting around 20 degrees or in the teens depending on where you are. 21 degrees over on the east side of the city, 19 degrees up toward Port Huron, also in Lapeer County. Parts of Livingston County also around 20 degrees for our friends and neighbors around Brighton and also around Howell. Just above 20 degrees to our south and closer to the Ohio border. Again, mostly dry around the region, minus a few flurries in Washtenaw County. There might be a couple more flurries popping up before this evening is over with. Just be on guard for a few slick spots here and there. And the wind, 5 to 10 miles per hour, still making all the difference. If you're going out this evening with your sweetie on your Valentine's Day, make sure everyone is bundled up, you're dressed in your layers because it feels like it's in the single digits, feels like 7 right now over in Pontiac. Here's a bit of a wider view. So the clouds remain overhead with a few flurries as we go through the afternoon. Skies clear pretty nicely as we go into tomorrow, and we'll have a fair amount of sunshine. Colder than average once again with temperatures right around 25 degrees. Now, a cold front is on the way. Out ahead of that are some higher temperatures, but rain comes along with it as we get into Wednesday night, and then colder air behind it turns that rain into snow as we go into Thursday. So to round things up, temperatures this evening and overnight tonight fall from the low 20s into the teens during dinner time, then to the single digits overnight. Remaining mostly cloudy with a few flurries up until about 10, 11 o'clock tonight, then they fade away. Sunrise tomorrow morning is right around 7:30. During the day tomorrow, as you plan your Tuesday, partly to mostly sunny skies, temperatures in the single digits in the morning, sunrise at 7:29, 26 for a high, a little bit higher than today. Then we're looking at those warmer conditions on Wednesday. Rain changing over to snow on Thursday, and we could see some accumulation before the end of Thursday. More on that at 5 o'clock on Local 4. Then into next weekend and winter blast, 20s on Friday, but we rebound into the 30s Saturday and Sunday.
All right. Thank you, Andrew. We appreciate it. And during the Winter Olympics, we have plenty of news for you during the day. And we're so glad that you found this edition of First at 4. Also, you can also look for a special edition of Local 4 News every night at 10 p.m. on clickondetroit.com. That update will also be streaming live on our Local 4 Plus app, which you can download to your smart TV, Roku, Fire Stick, or Apple TV. It's free. And it's just like downloading an app for your phone right onto your TV. So join Devin and Kim tonight at 10. The Detroit Zoo celebrating a really big penguin milestone with a big reopening. I want you to check this out. Some video from the Polk Penguin Conservation Center, which has just reopened to the public. I know my kiddos have been missing this place. It's been closed since 2019 for waterproofing repairs. The center is now home to 75 penguins, including several different breeds. In addition to the repairs, the zoo in Royal Oak has added several upgrades, which will make the experience even better for visitors. Priya Mann is working on the story. She's going to take us center stage and show us some of the cool new features when you join us over on Local 4 News tonight at 5. Do not miss that. All right, right now you can see NBC coverage of the Olympics over on Local 4, First at 4, and Inside Edition return to regular programming 1 week from today. Our next newscast is Local 4 News at 5, and you can always get updates on clickondetroit.com. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon, everybody.